Om Yogis, welcome to a practice today where we will be looking at the unpopular subject of pain or discomfort in the body. Let's begin in Baddha. So bring your feet together, soles of the feet together and the knees wide. And just take a moment here, connecting with your breath, maybe butterflying your legs, just getting comfortable. Today we're going to be looking inside the body, so you can close your eyes now. Bring your drishti inside the body, your gaze inside, and just check in with how you're feeling. Is there any areas of discomfort or pain in the body that we need to work with or work around? Never push through, never ignore. The pain or the discomfort that we find in the body, or the stiffness that we sometimes find in the body, provides a boundary that slows us down and teaches us where we need to work and where we need to learn. It's true, we always learn through pain if we're open to, and usually the big lessons come through the things that are most painful. Pain can show us where our boundaries are being crossed. You know, where do we need to soften the barbed wire in the fences around us, and where do we need to lay new bricks? We're going to look today at some of the possible emotional or energetic causes of pain or discomfort in the body. We're just going to consider our practice today, as we always do, as just a time where we can observe the self and be in the petri dish, if you like, learning where we are. So sitting in Baddha now, we're taking the hips out of the forward plane of walking and sitting. We're opening the pelvis, we're balancing the left and right side. The pelvis is said to be it's the origin of life, and also the origin of movement in the body, and a place of great balance. So it's good to just see where we are here. Are we balanced here? Is there tightness one side or the other? And if there is, we send the breath there. We send the awareness there. We come into a state of just allowing as best we can. So from here, lovelies, let's come into Sukhasana, cross-leg position. And if this is difficult for you, it can be a little bit easier if you can get your hips higher than your knees, so prop yourself up on a blanket or a pillow. Although this is not essential. For me, when I sit in Sukhasana, my knees do come up quite high, but it's quite comfortable for me there. And we're going to come into some alternate nostril breathing now. So just covering your left nostril. Take a breath, covering your right nostril. Just take a breath in and a breath out to prepare. And on your next breath in through your left nostril, let's switch it over and exhale right. Now inhale right side, switch it over, exhale left. Inhale left side, switch it over, exhale right. Inhale right side, switch and exhale left. So this is the pattern we're working with. We inhale, we switch, we exhale. We inhale, we switch, we exhale. So carry on to your own pace. And if you feel drawn, you can begin to hold your breath at the top of the inhale. And then switch, exhale. Inhale, hold or switch. Exhale. Keep going on your own, working with balancing the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Alternate nostril breathing also works on the left and right energy channels that run along the spine. In the yoga tradition, they're called Ida and Pingala nadis. And for me, overall, this just has this really kind of calming effect on my body, really brings me into the moment. On your next exhale through your left nostril, you can finish this here. And you can switch the cross of your legs if you wish to. Or just stretch your legs out and come back in for a little break. And then we're going to come into Kapalabhati, breath of fire. So for this breath, we breathe into the belly, you feel the belly expand. And then short, sharp exhale out of the nose, lifting the belly up. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale into the belly. And we begin again. Short, sharp exhale. Keep going on your own. This breath is said to aid digestion. It has a purifying effect in the body. Sometimes it's called the shining skull breath because it works with opening the crown chakra, opening the mind, sending the energy up, up, up. Just take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, just exhale. Completely. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Next round, inhale into the belly. And we begin again. Keep going. This breath is also said to stimulate the sacrum. So some of you might feel it as you breathe out. The sacrum moves in and up as well as the belly. Like a scooping effect through that triangular bone of the sacrum. The sacrum relates to our spirit force. So we're sending that spirit force up, up, up into our crown chakra here. Lifting the energy, lifting ourselves into a different state, preparing for practice. When you're ready, exhale, bring it to an end, and take a full inhale, nice deep inhale. Exhaling completely. Beautiful. And just breathe normally now. We're going to turn the head to look over the left shoulder. Then bring it back to center and turn the head to look over the right shoulder. Come back to center. Again, turn your head to look over your left shoulder. And this time, turn your eyes, keep your head where it is. Just turn your eyes to look over your right shoulder. So your head is facing a different direction to your eyes. We're stretching out the eyes here. Now come back to center and do the same thing over to the other side. Try not to create any tension in your neck as you do this. And then come back to center. Lovely. We're going to do that again and just add on. So turn the head to the left, look to the right. And now turn your, twist your shoulders, to the right a little to just exaggerate that turn of the head. And then come back to center. Now do the same thing over to the other side. And you'll know it better than me because you've just done it. As you twist your head to the right, your shoulders move slightly to the left to exaggerate the twist, and your eyes are moving to the left too. Beautiful. Come back to center. Let's do that one more time to each side. Stay soft through the back of your neck. Beautiful. Then come back to center. Let's lift the head up now and send the eyes down. Then drop that chin down towards the chest and send the eyes up. Come back to center. Do that one more time. Beautiful. Now stretch out all of the muscles in your face. Open your mouth wide, open your eyes wide, stretching. And then squeeze everything in towards the tip of your nose. So make a face like you're sucking on a lemon. Release that. Keep the eyes closed. And allow the face, the neck, the shoulders to soften. So going back to the topic of pain. If we have facial pain or pain in the face, that is said in some traditions to reflect and refer to our self-image. Just a little indicator that's saying to us, soften the mask that you might be wearing. Pain in the neck can be a body-spirit link. You know, there's this multi-directional image of the world that we have when our neck is healthy. We're able to see all sides of a thing. We're able to make good decisions. We're also able to listen to our own inner voice. So pain in your neck can be an indicator that there's something going on, something out of whack with this link, that we're not seeing all sides of a thing, or that we're not listening very well to ourselves. Come to all fours now. Let's come into cat-cow. I'm throwing these little theories out there just to kind of add a little bit more interest to the petri dish of our practice. In cat-cow, we warm and prepare the entire spine for practice. And we align the patterns between the head and the sacrum. We balance the top and the bottom of the spine. Remind yourself if there's pain or discomfort in your body, you're never to ignore it, never to push through it or push past it. Instead, slow down, breathe, observe, work with it. And we'll come now into a really gentle warm-up. Let's push back to downward facing dog and take a little stretch here. Lovely, then walk your feet towards your hand. Keep a deep bend in your knees. And then come on up, just roll up through your spine to prepare. Surya Namaskar warms up the entire body. It's just an amazing sequence that is the basis for so many different practices of yoga. We just take this sequence and build on it because it actually works on everything just as it is. So let's start by inhaling and stretching the arms up. And as your arms come up, your tailbone reaches down, your feet ground. And you can just tip your head slightly, but use your eyes to look at your hands, rather than just throwing the weight back into the back of the skull. Take a few breaths here, just stretching, feeling this position. Inhale into it, stretch a little more. And as you exhale, fold on in. Bend your knees if you're tight in your lower back or tight in your hamstrings. Doesn't matter how far, how deeply your knees are bent. As you inhale now, flatten out your back. Bring your hands to your shins, and this strengthens the back body. Lift into this position through your heart space, and then send your neck and your gaze to meet that same plane, the plane of your heart. Don't just tip your head up and strain the back of your neck. And as you exhale, come back into the fold. Just do that a few more times on your own. Inhaling, flattening out the back, bringing the hands to the shins, pulling the tummy in, lifting through the heart. Exhaling, folding. One more time like that. Beautiful. Then on your next exhale, bring your left leg back into a lunge position. This really starts to stretch the legs and stretch the psoas muscle. That runs through the pelvis, especially when we drop the hips and lift the chest. Starting to work into the psoas. Beautiful. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, come back to plank position. We just stay in plank position for a moment, just pushing back into your heels, lengthening your legs, strengthening through your arms, lifting through your core. And as you exhale now, bring your knees, chest and chin to the ground. Keep your belly engaged and up. Pull up through your belly as you do this. Then when you're ready, drop to your belly and take a little baby cobra. So don't even use your arms at this point. Just use the strength in your back to lift your chin and your chest away from the ground. Follow the line of your heart with your chin so you're not straining into the neck. It's really common for us to just look up and try to lift the pose from the top of the head, and this can impact the back of the neck negatively. Beautiful. When you're ready, I'm sure you're ready now, let's exhale, come down, and then bring yourself back into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog stretches the entire back body. Plant your hands, bend your knees if you need to. Send your tailbone high, your buttocks open and expanded. And really push into your hands. Maybe straighten out your legs, maybe not. When you're ready now, bring your left leg through. And come into that lunge position on the other side. Dropping the hips, lifting the chest to open and start to work into the psoas muscle. And then come back onto the ball of your back foot, spring forward and fold. Fold on in. Keep the knees bent if you've got anything going on in your lower back. And keep the knees bent as you come up to standing if there's anything going on. Back up to standing, stretching the arms high and feeling that pendulum, the weight of the tailbone helping to bring you up. The groundedness in the feet helping to stretch the fingers to the sky, to the ceiling. Beautiful. Let's exhale now, fold on in again. Inhale, flatten out the back. Exhale, bring your right leg back into lunge position. As you inhale, lift your heart. And then exhale, push back to plank. Lengthening the legs, strengthening the arms and the core. Take an inhale here, and on your next exhale, bring your knees, chest and chin to the ground, keeping your belly up. Then drop everything to the ground, lifting through your heart. Use the strength in your back and maybe a little push into your arms if your back is ready for it, for cobra. Exhale, when you're ready, come on down and push back into downward facing dog. Bend one knee at a time. And feel how this position stretches out the entire back body. It's a super good stretch for your calf muscles here. Now bring your right leg through into that lunge position. Inhale, open it up. And then spring forward on your exhale and fold on in. Heavy through the tailbone, grounded through the feet. As you inhale, come back up to stand. Stretching. And as you exhale, come all the way down to your fold position. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, back to plank. From plank, let's push to downward facing dog. And walk your feet through to your hands and come to sit back in Sukhasana, cross-leg fold. If you didn't change the cross of your legs when we were doing the pranayama at the start of the practice, now is the time to change the cross of your legs the weird way. If you already did it, then you are relieved of that task. And we're going to bring the hands to the shoulders now, and we're just going to inhale left, exhale right. So this movement can be as slow or as fast as you like it to be. I like to pump the breath so it sounds a little bit like this. And this for me really loosens my shoulders, really loosens my upper back. I'm quite susceptible to pain in the shoulders. Pain in the shoulders is said to be a sign that we're bearing too much of a load. There's too heavy a burden on us. Problems here can indicate that we're taking on too much responsibility for others. And we need to come away from the burden and allow the energy of the heart to start to circulate again. So I'm giving you just that little insight, just in case you've got pain or discomfort in your shoulders. You maybe want to ask yourself the question, is this pain, coming from some emotional, energetic source? And is it worth me looking at that and seeing if that assists the body in its healing process? Beautiful. Let's come back to center when you're ready. And just bring your weight forward and let's kneel down now. Bring your weight into your feet, so tuck your toes under and make sure your little toes are also participating in this. And then you can take your weight back onto your heels to stretch your feet. This stretches the plantar fascia of the foot. It's really great for plantar fasciitis if you've got or pain in your feet. And if it's too much for you, you can keep your hands on the floor and take a little bit of the weight there. Pain in the feet indicates that, we need to connect and ground and stabilize more. Healthy feet encourage connectivity and stability. And if your hands are not on the floor, you can bring them to the floor now. You can either release your feet or keep them in that position, and just turn your hands out to the side of your mat and then all the way around towards your body, if that's possible, for a really nice stretch through the hands and the wrists. Now, if it's too intense, just keep the hips forward. If you want more stretch, take the weight back away from your hands. This stretches the hands, the wrists, and the forearms beautifully, the inner forearms. There's said to be 21 energy centers in the hands alone, and all of these relate directly to the heart. Our hands and our arms are extensions of our heart. They help us embrace what we love and welcome in what we love. When we're stretching the arms, this can assist us to embrace life and welcome in or greet new experiences with a more open heart, or in a more open-hearted way. So if you've had pain in your arms or hands, this could well be connected to how you embrace life, how you express the energy of your heart. Or maybe not. It's up to you. You take it or you leave it, lovelies. Beautiful. But we're going to leave that there now. So let's unpeel the hands from the mat and unpeel your toes from the mat if they've been in that position this whole time. Congratulations, well done. And we're going to roll our mat up now. So take your mat and roll it up nice and neatly and as tightly as you can. Or you can use a rolled up towel or a blanket here. And then we're just going to lie over the mat. So horizontal, we keep the mat on the horizontal line. And we lie over it. So the mat lies kind of around the tips of the shoulder blades. And use this mat to support us in a shoulder opener over the mat. Now you can bring your hands into a cactus shape here, and you might even want to hold a strap just to create some more stability here. If it's too much, unroll your mat a little bit so you're not so high. And then once you get there, relax. And breathe. So we're stretching out the chest. We're stretching out the front of the shoulders here. It's a beautiful posture to counteract slouching. Why do we slouch? Because, we've kind of lost our enthusiasm. Any problems, pain, discomfort in the thoracic spine, which is that part of the spine that is below the cervical spine, the bones of the neck, and sort of before the lumbar spine. So behind the heart, really. Pain or problems here show us where we might be being pushed beyond our emotional limits. it is said that pain here is like an alarm bell, that things are getting out of hand, we're being pushed upon too much, and we need to sort of come back to what it is that we need. And when I'm talking about these emotional sources of pain, I'm drawing from the work of a man called Jacques Martel. His theory, and along with many other people, believe that all physical ailments are rooted in the emotional body and how we process and release our emotions. And if we don't do that, what happens, if we don't process and release and work through our emotions, they get stuck in the body and cause pain or discomfort. I mention this in case it's of use to you, but this might not be something that you're interested in. It might not be something that you put much stock into, and that's fine too, lovelies. But for me, personally, if I'm being pushed upon in my emotional body for a prolonged period of time, my physical body will always give me a clue as to what's going on. My physical body will always respond to that, and will always take that on, and always suffers. Quite often, I don't realize what I'm taking on emotionally until my physical body says no more. You will stop now. And then something will happen, something will give, and I need to take stock, and say, well, what's going on here for me? And for me personally, this area of the thoracic spine, over the last year or two, I've really felt that being pushed upon. So I know from my own experience, this is a place that starts to play up when we are pushed beyond our limits, and we all have limits. But hopefully in this moment, you're feeling yourself opening, releasing, listening, hopefully with an open heart, a forgiving heart. And breathing. And if you want more of a stretch, just deepen your breath. And I forgot to say this earlier, but for future reference, if this creates tension in your neck, you can always put a block behind your head. And I suppose, regardless of whether or not, we're particularly interested in the energetic or emotional root cause of possible pain and discomfort in the body, it's beautiful to bring this into our practice, because we can see, that a yoga practice is not just healing and therapeutic on a physical level, but possibly helps us to release on an emotional level too. Possibly helps us to become more aware on an emotional level, on a feeling level. And this is what we're doing. We're learning to feel the sensation in the body and learning to work with it. It's very beautiful. Okay, lovelies, let's just bring your hands together as if you're on a weights machine. So just squeeze your elbows and your forearms in towards one another to come out of this. And then slowly roll off or sit up, whatever works for your body, to come off of the mat. And then you can unroll your mat so you can use it again for your practice. Grab a strap and lie down. Let's come into a hamstring stretch with a strap. So pop the strap over the ball of the foot and lengthen whatever leg you're working with up towards the ceiling. We're using the strap to support the stretch, but we don't want to create tension in the shoulders or the neck or the face. So see if you can use the weight of your shoulders to facilitate more stretch in the leg. And start to breathe up and down the leg that you're working with. This awareness will only help your muscles, your hamstrings to release. You can have your other leg either bent or straight, whatever's good for your body. It's a beautiful stretch, this one, for pain in the lower back, actually. Tight hamstrings can really pull on the lower back. You know, the back body is like a huge piece of elastic, really, that runs from the heels to the top of the head. And if this piece of elastic, for, you know, just for simplicity's sake, that runs along the back of the body, if it gets tight, it impacts the weakest point, which is the lower back. So opening our hamstrings is actually really, really good for our backs. But it's also really, really good for our legs, of course. Our legs are said to give us the power to move forward. And our hamstrings are said to hold emotional energy that can relate to feeling overpowered in some way. Or if we have been overpowering or dominating others in some way, it can be all held in the hamstrings. Maybe that makes sense to you at this point, or maybe you don't feel it applies, and it doesn't matter either way. We're just looking, we're just seeing, we're just breathing. Beautiful. Let's swap the legs over now. Taking that stretch on the other side. Being very careful not to create tension in the shoulders, in the jaw. Breathing up and down the leg that is being stretched. If you find pain or discomfort, breathe into it. I mean, this is the thing when we're practicing yoga, is it's okay to feel the body. It's okay to feel comfortably uncomfortable. It's okay to get to an edge in ourselves where we go, this isn't pleasant, but I'm okay. I'm okay with it. And there's a fine line between, the intensity of a pose and pain in the body, and we have to learn to distinguish one from the other. If there's pain in the body, sometimes, we need to rest that. It's not wise to push through it. But also, if there's pain in the body, sometimes it's good to work around it. And to work around it gently and gently coax that pain out of us. It can be done, but it's a fine line. So work wisely, lovelies. Half the battle of working with pain is knowing when intensity and sensation is just intensity, or if it's pain, and then knowing what to do with it. Beautiful. Let's come out of that stretch now, and we're going to come into some leg raises. So if you've got anything going on in your lower back, just pop your hands, palms down underneath your hips to support this. And you can inhale, raise your left leg, and exhale, lower it to a hover, about 1 centimeter or 2 above the ground. Inhale, raise the same leg. Exhale to a hover. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, raise left leg. Exhale to a hover. Use your core to support you. And then relax the leg down. Let's do that again on the other side. So right side now. Inhaling, raising the leg. And exhaling to a hover. Inhale, raise. Exhale, hover. Last time. Inhale, raise. And exhale, hover. Now you can carry on like this, just doing sets of 2 or 3 on each side. Or if your core is feeling good and you're feeling strong enough, you can bring both of your legs up and both of your legs down at the same time. If this creates discomfort in your back, just stick with one leg at a time. We're working now with the core, with the center of the body. This relates, according to Jacques Martel, relates to fulfilling the needs of the body. So when the core is strong, the needs are fulfilled. And there is no lack, It also relates to these needs being independently met, that we can meet our own needs. We can do what is good for us. And it also relates to our ability to absorb and digest the events in our lives. So we're inhaling, legs up, exhaling, legs down, or leg up, leg down. And just do a few more here on your own, just either to complete the set, if you're doing one leg at a time, or just to push yourself gently a little further if you're doing both together. And then when you're ready, lower your legs to the mat. Bring your feet to your mat. Bring them mat width apart. So your knees are up and your feet are down. The knees are bent. Now try your best to keep your feet in this sort of position and your knees in this sort of position. So we're going to twist, but we want the legs to kind of stay where they are. So you let your legs drop to the left, bring them back to center, and then exhale, drop to the right and bring them back to center. What this should look and feel like is your legs are like windscreen wipers. And if you're doing it right, you'll see this straight away. You'll be like, oh yeah. And at this point, we're introducing twisting to the spine. So keep going. Inhaling to center, exhaling over to one side. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the other side. Twists are great for digestion. They're great for the organs of digestion in the body. You know, and if we've been having problems with our core and, you know, struggling to absorb and digest our realities or the events in our lives, this is really beautiful just to kind of ease us through that. So if you're feeling kind of stuff going on in the core of your body and there's a lot going on for you emotionally, you know, and you need something to kind of help you get through that, this is a go-to posture. It's a go-to posture. It's beautiful. It's very calming, very relaxing, but also, you know, really, really effective way to move the body in a way that fulfills the needs of the body. Super beautiful. Okay, let's come. Inhale yourself back to center, lovelies. Make sure you've got a block handy. And we're going to start off with some pelvic tilts. So you won't need your block just yet, but you'll need it in a minute. Now, as you exhale, press your back down towards the floor. And as you inhale, press your tailbone down towards the floor. And this will create a tilting effect through your pelvis and like a little bridge through your lower back that kind of gets pushed to the ground as you exhale and gently opens up as you inhale. Pelvic tilts are amazing for the lumbar spine, amazing for the lower back. Amazing, just a small and mighty movement. Again, if we've had issues in the core of our bodies, maybe even the core of our lives, it can impact the lower back because we lose our soft underbelly. We harden off. You know, we get tight in the stomach, and this can impact the lower back. And I love this. I love pelvic tilts because that just sort of, it's just a beautiful way to give yourself a bit of love, actually, when you might be in this kind of space. So now, lovely, as you inhale and you feel the bridge of your lower back rise, you can push into your feet gently and come on up for bridge position. So your hips raise off the ground, your buttocks come actually off the ground. And then you can slide that block underneath your sacrum, which is that big triangular bone at the base of your spine. And then just relax down onto the block for a supported bridge pose here. This is awesome for opening the belly. It really stretches out the tummy. So if we've been in that state of defense, or we felt like we've been under attack in our core and we've gone into contraction in the tummy, and that's affected the low back because our soft underbelly has kind of said, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Being in this position has such a restorative effect for the low spine because you're actually gently allowing your belly to soften, coming out of defense mechanisms. Breathing deep. Relaxing the hinge of your jaw, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your breath even. Again, we see how the practice of yoga is not only great for the physical body, but also assists the emotional body, assists us to kind of work into where there might be emotional contractions affecting the physical body. And just taking that little time in the week when you practice just to consciously see if this could be a possibility for us, and perhaps see if we can let that go. Okay, if you're loving this, stay here. If you're loving this, stay here. If you'd like to come into a supported shoulder stand, you can gently play around with raising one leg at a time. Just try it one leg at a time. The key here is to keep the weight of your hips pushing into the block, and then the block remains stable. But if you take your hips away from the block will start to wobble. So one leg at a time may turn into both legs, and it may turn into a supported shoulder stand here. Shoulder stand is amazing. It just drains the legs. Super good for build up in the legs, stuff that might lead to sort of varicose veins, that kind of thing. If you think about it, most of the time the energy is moving the other way. So everything's moving towards the legs, really, because they're the lowest point in our day-to-day lives, usually when we're sitting, when we're walking, driving, all of that stuff. But here they become the highest point, and any stagnant energy can start to drain out of the legs. Any old feelings of, kind of feeling, overpowered or just sluggish can start to drain out of us. And all that nutrient-rich blood also is coming towards the pelvis now, towards this place from which we move, towards this place from which all life is sourced. It's a really important center, the pelvis. And shoulder stand has such a calming and balancing effect here. Now, if you like, you can begin to flex and point your feet. Give your feet that little bit of rest. Those feet are the point of contact with the mother. Quite often, if we have issues in the feet, we might be having issues grounding into our earth, or connecting with the earth, or connecting even with our own mothers or ourselves as a mother, or even just that mothering energy, just feeling nurtured, might be a struggle for us. So we can give the feet a break from all of this. We can flex and point them, move the ankles in circles if that feels good. And then in your own time, bring one leg at a time back to your supported bridge, if you ever came out of it. And then lift your hips, lovelies. Remove the block. And start to stay up, but start to roll down through your spine. So your upper back comes to the floor first, your mid back next, then your lower back, then your hips, then your tailbone, And from here you can come back into your pelvic tilts. It's really nice just to do a few of those after a supported bridge and sort of shoulder stand. Super nice. Beautiful. Now we come into supported fish. For this you'll need 2 blocks or a block and a blanket behind your head. And we're just going to do this on the low level for today. We're going to bring the block to the lowest level and bring it behind us, behind the flat bones of the shoulder blades. So kind of, if you're female or you're male and you like to wear a bra, behind where your bra strap would be. Now you can allow your head to fall back from here if that's comfortable for you. If it's not, you can bring a block or a blanket behind the head. And then you can either bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees knock wide, or you can let your legs come straight out in front of you, or you can bring the feet to the floor and let the knees knock in, or just keep the knees apart. So basically legs can be in any position that affords you comfort. You're in a supported fish now, and this position really opens up the rib cage. It allows for space between the ribs, so you can breathe big here. Start to really deepen your breath, breathing into your abdomen, your chest and your collarbones. Breathing out abdomen, chest and collarbones. Now the ribs give us protection. Problems in the ribs might indicate feeling overly vulnerable or being exposed to danger in some way. When I was looking at the work of Jacques Martel, he was talking about the rib cage, and I'm particularly interested in this because I get sticky ribs now and again. But he was saying, lower ribs the ribs relate to our relationship with the outside world. So it's like that point of contact from where we breathe. And, very, very close to the heart. So it looks at when we have issues in the ribs, we might emotionally want to look at our relationships. The lower ribs relate to children or to people younger than us, maybe to babies, or to issues around conception, conceiving, or fertility. Problems in the middle ribs might relate to issues in our relationships with our peers, our siblings, our cousins, our spouse, the people of the same kind of age as us, or on the same kind of life stage as us. Problems in the upper ribs relate to parents, grandparents, ancestors, people older than us. So as you lie here now in supported fish, feeling your ribs, you might want to start to kind of gauge if there's any kind of sticky areas or any congestion in your rib cage. And if there is, whether it's lower, middle, or upper rib section, and whether that relates to children, peers, or parents. Problems around feeling overly vulnerable or in danger somehow can manifest with pain in the ribs, according to Jacques Martel. And, I have to say, based on recent personal experience, yes, that does apply for me. I can feel there is a truth in that for me. So lovelies. Big breath in here, abdomen, chest, collarbones. Know that when we bring our awareness to the body, to the emotions or to the self, we're providing a healing benefit just in doing that. And then when you're ready, let's slowly bring ourselves in whatever way works off of that block. Beautiful. Let's come up to seated and take Baddha Konasana again, soles of the feet together, knees wide. But this time let's take it into a wider diamond shape. And we're going to practice Uddiyana Bandha here. This is an energetic lock. So I'm going to talk you guys through it. What we do is we take a deep breath in, and then we breathe out all of the air in the body. So really push all of the air out of the body. Now look in towards your tummy and start to lift your tummy up and in, and your pelvis, your root lock, Mula Bandha, pelvic floor might well start to lift up and in as well, and just hold that. Then when you're ready to release it, release the lock, you release your belly, and then breathe in afterwards. So the pattern for this is we breathe out all the way to endpoint, we engage the lock, we're looking in all of the time, and that gives the throat lock, Jalandhara Bandha, a chance to participate as well. And then when you've had enough and you can hold your breath no more, you release the body first, then take the inhale. So continue with this on your own. If you find yourself Mula Bandha, pelvic floor lifting, Uddiyana Bandha, lower abdomen lifting and scooping, so there's a hollowing of the belly, and you're looking in and you feel Jalandhara Bandha turn on, all three locks together are called something. I think it's something that means something like the royal lock or the royal seal, and the name is eluding me now, but you might be able to bring all three together. As exhale, or do what you're doing, release that. And let's just do one more together, just in case that little section eluded you. I'll talk you through it one more time. We'll take an inhale here together. Now exhale all of the air out of your body. Look in towards your belly, hold your ankles or your feet to support you, and then start to scoop the belly up towards the spine, in and up. You might lift through pelvic floor, you might feel naturally the throat lock is on now as you hold the breath out and you hold the locks. This is drawing energy up again towards the brain. And then when you've had enough, release the body first, release the lock, then take the breath in, deep breath in when you're ready. So beautiful. And so much during a yoga practice is about lifting energy, lightening the load, lightening energy. It's this beautiful lightening effect. And again, we're working with the pelvis, we're bringing that energy up from the pelvis, that balance from the pelvis all the way up into the brain. Super beautiful. Okay, lovelies. Now let's take our legs wide and straight out in front of us, as wide as the mat. So we're going to do a forward fold, but with wide legs today, but not straddle, just as wide as your mat. Now you might want to just lift your buttocks and pull them out from behind you so you can get onto your front sit bones here. If this doesn't happen for you and you feel that you're still sitting on the back of your buttocks, prop yourself up on a blanket or a pillow and work to get your pelvis tilting forward onto the front of your sit bones. Now this might be as far as you go today, and that's absolutely fine. If you want to go a little further, just to do something a little bit new, we're going to cross the arms in front of us and hold the outside of the opposite shin. And use the arms and the cross of the arms as a lever to fold forward. Now, if we haven't got that forward tilt of the pelvis and we fold forward, we're just going to be creating problems for the lower back. So don't fold until you get the tilt. And it's not the head that is trying to come down, it's the heart that is trying to fold towards the feet, trying to move towards the feet. And wherever you are, whether you're just working on the tilt or whether you're going into the fold, we're working here to bring our awareness into our lumbar spine. And you can breathe your breath into your lower back here. Now, if we've got problems in this area, according to Jacques Martel, they might be associated with loss or with learning how to accept help and support. Again, doing too much, taking on too much emotionally, holding too much emotionally. This might be relevant for you, it might not be. If it is, make a mental note now to look at that maybe. If it's not, you might want to put it in the pending tray just in case it might be relevant at a different time. Or discard it completely, it's up to you totally, lovelies. Take an inhale here, then when you're ready, come out of that fold. And now let's come forward into downward facing dog to stretch out the entire back body. So imagine a piece of elastic that runs from the backs of your heels to the top of your head. And, you know, this is the simplest way of putting it, how kind of the muscles and the ligaments of the body work in the back space, the back plane of our physical body. Now, if the area that's going to get compromised is the lower back every time, that's the weakest area between the heels and the top of the head. So if you feel any compromise in your lower back, bend your knees. Bend your knees, lovelies. If you have trouble pushing into your fingers or straightening out your hands, you can always come onto your knees and just take a puppy dog. Just so you get that really good stretch through the back. If you're in downward facing dog, you might want to try to take your heels towards the floor. If they're on the floor, you can increase the stretch by lifting the toes. Beautiful big stretch down the entire back body. Lovely. Now, lovelies, let's walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet, whatever you prefer. And start to roll up through your spine to stand. Remembering any problems in the lower back, you bend your knees. I always bend my knees when I'm rolling up. It's just way more comfortable. And once you come to stand, grab your block. And just because I love this stretch, come to bring one of your feet onto your block and just let the heel drop. This is a beautiful stretch for the Achilles tendon, beautiful stretch for your calves as well. Any problems or pain in this area of the body, according to Jacques Martel, may come from feeling you need protection against your past, may indicate that you are entrenched in old stuff instead of moving forward, moving ahead. So let's release any of that, if that's relevant for you, out of the calves, out of the Achilles. Or maybe we can't release it all in one go, but we can certainly call that in, call that energy of release into us and say, you know, I'm letting go of my past struggles so I can move forward easily. Or you might just say, I'm having a really good stretch through my calves, and either is fine. Either is fine. Make sure you do both feet. So I'm not sure if I said to swap over, but you know, if you have swapped over, you could do it, you go a little bit, do it again on both sides. Or if you haven't, take a long stretch on the other side now. Lovely. And then remove your block and come to stand on your mat and feel your feet really, really anchored now, really, really centered. Spread your toes and really anchor your feet. Maybe even slightly dig your toes into your mat here. And then bring one leg up for tree posture. So your foot can be either right onto the thigh, the inner thigh, or onto your inner calf muscle, or to your ankle. It would be sitting on your ankle, but the foot would be on the floor then. So it doesn't matter how high up you bring the foot, just don't bring it to the knee, please. And we're opening the pelvis here, so bring your sit bones a little closer together. So move your sit bones close together to open up your pelvis and focus your eyes on one spot in front of you that will not move. Focus your drishti. It is said that if your eyes are all over the place, your mind is all over the place. This is why the yogis practice having a drishti, or a point of focus during a practice. And balance here. This posture strengthens the ankles, brings in the energy of self-reliance and the ability to move in different directions. It opens the side plane of the hips again, so it brings balance to the hips. Beautiful. Now let's do that on the other side. The ankles sort of will move a lot. You know, you might wobble a lot, and that's absolutely fine. You might fall out and have to come back in, and that's absolutely fine. What you're doing is you're strengthening your ankle joint with this pose. And this brings a feeling of like, you know, I can hold myself still in this strange position. I can center, even though my body is slightly skew with. And I've got this. I've got myself. I can rely on myself. Super beautiful. Then when you're ready, come on out. Bring your feet hip width apart. So imagine you've got like two fists between your feet. Bend your knees. Let's come into chair pose. Everyone's favorite, Utkatasana. I'm not. This pose, now you can bring your arms up if you like, or you can just keep them to your hips. Take the bend in the knees for today as deep as possible. Turn your tailbone down, lift your belly up. Try to open your chest, but really work on your thighs here. We're working to strengthen the thighs. Pain in the thighs, according to Jacques Martel, indicates a need to reassess our limitations. We've gone, we're not being realistic. Also to release guilt and feeling guilty about who we are, and come into more of a state of acceptance in ourselves. I think if you can accept this posture for a sustained amount of time, it's really easy to accept yourself. So let's take another couple of breaths. Just enjoy it, and then when you enjoy it no more, just come into a fold position. Sweet relief. Keep the knees bent, of course, if there's anything going on in the lower back. And from here, let's come down to the mat to all fours and then lower forward into Sphinx pose. Just for me, just for the reason that this Sphinx, Cobra, any kind of back bend is the moment where my buttocks always tighten. So when I used to teach a lot, I used to say, release your buttocks, Julie, in this pose. So see if you can let your buttocks release. Lift your lower belly, very, very low belly, just above the pubic bone, a little bit more. And release your buttocks. And then open your chest from there. Now, tightness in your buttocks can indicate that you feel under threat. When we do a back bend, we do feel under threat because, like I say, we're opening the soft underbelly. If we've been in our defense mechanisms for a prolonged period of time, we might not want to open that soft underbelly. So we clamp down. And the biggest muscles in the back body are the buttocks, the most powerful muscles. So let's let them go. I notice this in my day-to-day life that, even when I'm having relatively normal and fine conversations, sometimes my buttocks are, like my left or my right buttock will start to tense, and that creates all kinds of havoc in my hips and lower back. So you guys might want to look at this, this kind of common habit pattern that we have. I know I'm not alone in this one. So hopefully by now your buttocks are nice and relaxed and you're not feeling under threat at all. You're feeling very, very calm and very happy. And now we can push back into child's pose. And in child's pose, feel the sacrum spreading. Triangular bone, that spiritual center, the sacred sacrum. The name sacrum comes from the word sacred. In child's pose, we bow to our spirit force. That spirit force that came in so strongly, when we were born. Issues in the sacrum can indicate spiritual conflict. We might feel in contradiction with our spiritual values and the lives that we are living. You might want to consider that, or you might not want to consider that. Either is absolutely fine. As you bow to your spirit force, the back door of the heart can start to open more fully. And then when you're ready, you can press yourself up to kneeling. Now let's take the weight to the left hip and bring your right foot over your left knee for a half spinal twist. We just inhale, lengthen through the spine, and as you exhale, just twist towards your bent leg. Nice and gentle now, lovelies. These twists help us digest our practice, digest everything that we may have learned. And then we come back to center, come back to kneeling, let the weight fall to the other side, so I believe it's the right hip. Bring your left leg over your right leg, sole of the foot to the floor. Inhale, get long, and exhale, twist towards your bent knee. These poses are also brilliant for elimination of toxins. So if you feel that, the word like Jacques Martel and his theories about pain and emotion being related, if you feel that they're not for you, you can use this pose to sort of eliminate that notion in this moment. It's absolutely fine. The main thing is not that, we necessarily believe anything that anyone else says about our yoga practice and what it does for us. The main thing is we experience it and we work it out for ourselves. We learn through our own experiences. So there's no actual belief system involved in this. It's purely scientific in a way. Yoga is very, trying to think of the word, very structured. It's a very ancient and it's just a very ancient way of working with the self. In which we are asked just to look, and that's it. Let's inhale and exhale, release. Now let's come down to the mat, you guys, and bring the soles of your feet together. You might want to bring your blocks underneath your thighs to support you as we come into a supine Baddha Konasana. So the soles of the feet are together and the knees go wide. And we're back in the pelvis where we began. We begin and end in the pelvis, the source of all life, all movement. This place of great balance within us. Take a little mental scan now of your body. Notice any areas of your body that might be in tension and see if you can let go. Allow the release process. For me, I've realized over the years of practicing yoga that so much of my own pain, personal pain on a physical level, emotional level, a spiritual level even, or a mental level, comes from an over-contraction. I'm over-holding, I'm too tight, I'm too firm, I'm too closed in. And as soon as I let go, there is relief. So see if there's any areas of your body that you can just test that theory with right now. Any places you can find where there's an over-contraction, and you can work with your breath and your awareness to release that. Does this relieve pain? Remembering, lovelies, that pain and discomfort provides a boundary. It slows us down, it forces us to slow down, and shows us and teaches us where it is that we need to work and to learn and to be respectful. We always learn through pain, or at least I do, and all of the biggest lessons that I've had have come from the most painful experiences. Pain is the outer wrapping of the inner gift of wisdom. Inside of all pain there is the present and the wisdom that is present within that pain. We learn such a lot. Pain shows us where our boundaries are being crossed. And how do we work with those boundaries? Do we need to soften them? Are we contracted? Are we defensive? Are we like a barbed wire fence? Or do we need to strengthen our boundaries? Do we need to lay some new bricks and, build a better wall? Make stronger lines around ourselves. We've been working today looking at the possible emotional or energetic causes of pain and discomfort in the body. Because, our practice is the petri dish. We're just seeing what we might learn about ourselves through observation and applying different viewpoints to our practice. When we scan the inner body, we find areas of tension, contraction, stickiness inside, and we work with and around those. Pain, more often than not, doesn't have a chance to manifest physically. But if pain is there, we never ignore it, we never push through it, we respect it. Because it is there to teach us something. When you're ready, use your hands to bring your knees back together. Go slowly. And you can take happy baby here. If that's good for your body. And we're coming into Shavasana. When you're ready, you can stay in happy baby a bit longer if you like to, or you can start to get ready now, ensuring that you will be warm enough for the next 10 minutes or so. In Shavasana, take your arms and legs away from your torso. So you take up a ton of room. And this way, your energy can circulate through your body. And maybe push through the pipes, push out any unnecessary pain that is there, or any discomfort that could turn to pain. Soften the back of your neck, soften your face, soften your jaw, soften your eyes. Relax your breath. And progressively keep letting go, keep scanning the body now. Each inhalation is an opportunity to observe and bring light and prana into the body, the light of your awareness. Each exhalation is an opportunity to allow and release and let go and get right out of the way of the body's wisdom. So try not to fall asleep. Let the body relax, but let the mind be alert and open and looking. Every inhalation is an opportunity for more energy, more observation. Every exhalation, allow and release, let go and relax. 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 Nrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Nrita Kundala Nrita Kundala Nrita Kundala Kalita Lalita Vanama Jaya Jaya Deva Jaya Deva Hare Dinamani Mandala Mandana Baba Kundana Baba Kundana Baba Kundana Muni Jana Manasahamsa Jaya Jaya Deva Jaya Deva Hare Abhinava Jalandhara Sundaraye Dhritamandaraye Dhritamandaraye Dhritamandara Shri Mukha Chandra Chakura Jaya Jaya Deva Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Deva Hare. Begin to deepen your breath, you guys. Wiggling your fingers and toes, bringing yourself back, taking whatever stretch your body needs. A body that is beautiful, whether there is pain or not. You are as beautiful as a fresh rain cloud, holding up the mountain like an umbrella. You are a kakura bird, living from the moonbeams from Shri's lovely face. Be victorious, God of victory, Hare. Some of the words from the chant that I was just singing to you. As we come back now, roll to one side and bring anything, if anything, has been useful to you today. Bring it, make a little intention to bring it back with you, back into your life. And then slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Triumphant God, Hare, adorned by the circle of the sun's pure light, you break through the bond of existence, a glorious swan on the quiet lake of the sage's mind. Be victorious, with crystal pure, deep lotus eyes, you free us from conditioned existence. You are as beautiful as a fresh rain cloud, holding up the mountain like an umbrella. You are a kakura bird living from the moonbeams, from Shri's lovely face. Be victorious. It's my favourite chant from the Song of Govinda. And it's just beautiful. But I think this is when we're working with pain, if we can see pain as a teacher, that brings us the gift of inner wisdom, and we can respect that and work around that and learn through it, we're bound to be victorious. We're bound to be, whether that is, we're talking about our physical pain, our emotional pain, our spiritual pain, our mental pain. It's not there to punish us, it's there to teach us, to show us where to work. It provides that boundary that slows us right down and says, look at this now. So hopefully through the course of this class we've learned that pain might be an unpopular subject, but when we work with it in whatever way we feel is relevant for us, we can learn a lot. And so pain ain't so bad. And this comes to you with so much love. I hope that listening to me today wasn't too painful. And I'm sending gratitude to Jacques Martel, who provided me with a kind of inspirational kick to do this class. Sending lots of love to you today, and a deep namaste. Namaste, Hari Om. Om.